Yasudanandana Brajadaranjana Yasudanandana Brajadaranjana Yamunatira Vanasali Yamunatira Yamunatira Vasaliyam Radha Madhav Kunjavihari Radha Madhav Kunjavihari Gopijana Vallabha Jiri Valudari Gopijana Vallabha Jiri Valudari Yasudanandana Brajadaranjana Yasudanandana Brajadaranjana Yamunatira Vanasariyam Tira Yamunatira Vasaliyam Tira Vanasariyam Radha Madhava Kunjavihari Madhava Kunjavihari Radha Madhava Kunjavihari Gopijana Vallabha Jiri Valudari Gopijana Vallabha Jiri Valudari Gopijana Yasudanandana Brajadaranjana Yasudanandana Brajadaranjana Yamunatira Vanasariyam Tira Vanasariyam Jai Radha Govinda Madhav Radha Govinda Madhav Shri Radhe Radha Radha Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gaurani Time, Gaurani Time, Gaurani Time, Jaya Gaurani Time. Time. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev. Shri Radha Govinda Madhav ki, Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Shri Gonitai ki, Shri Shikri Govardhan ki, Shrimad Bhagavatam ki, Gopramanande, Svagatam Susvagatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjala Sharakaya Shakshu Militam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sa Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sam Jivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchane Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Panamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, verse 23. Sorry, chapter 23. The demigods regain the heavenly planets. 30 and 31. Because there's no purport to 30. Ya idam devadevasya yedam devadevasya hare adbhuta karmanaha hare adbhuta karmanaha avatar anucharitam Shrinvan Yati Param Gatim Shrinvan Yati Param Gatim Yedam Deva Devasya Hare Adbhut Karmanaha
Hare Adbhuta Karmana
Avatara Nucharitam
Avatara Nucharitam
Srinvanyati Param Gatim
Vivanyati Paramati
Yenam Deva Devasya
Devasya
Hare Adbhut Karmanaha
Hare Adbhuta Karmana
Avatara Nucharitam
Avatara Nucharitam
Srinvanyati Param Gatim.
Vivanyati Paramati
Please.
Yaidam Devadevasya
Yodam Devadevasya
Hare Adbhuta Karmana
Hare Adbhuta Karmana
Avataranu Charitam
Avatara Nucharitam
Shrinvanyati Paramgati
Srinvanyati Paramgati
Edam Deva Devasya
Yodam Devadevasya
Adbhuta Karmanaha
Hare Adbhuta Karmana
Avatarano Charitam
Avatara Nucharitam
Shrinvanyati Param Gatim
Srinvanyati Paramgati
Yaidam Devadevasya
Yodam Devadevasya
Hare Adbhuta Karmana
Hare Adbhuta Karmana
Avataranu Charitam
Avatara Nucharitam
Shrinvanyati Paramgati
Srinvanyati Paramgati
Mataji's.
Yaidam Deva Devasya
Yodam Devadevasya
Hare Adbhuta Karmana
Hare Adbhuta Karmana
Avataranu Charitam
Avatara Nucharitam
Srinvanyati Paramgati
Srinvanyati Paramgati
Iya,
Ya
anyone who,
anyone who
idam,
Idam
this,
This
Devadevasya,
Devadevasya
of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is worshipped by the demigods.
of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is worshipped by the demigods.
Hare,
Hare,
of Lord Krishna, Hari,
O Lord Krishna Hare,
Adbhuta Karmanaha,
Adbhuta Karmana,
whose activities are all wonderful.
whose
activities are all wonderful.
Avataranutcharitam,
Avatara Nucharitam,
activities performed in his different incarnations.
activities performed in his different incarnations.
Shrinvan,
Srinvan,
if one continues to hear,
if one continues to hear,
Yati,
Yati,
he goes.
he goes.
Parangati,
Paramgati,
to the supreme perfection, back home, back to Godhead.
to the Supreme Perfection, back home, back to Godhead.
Translation. If one hears about the uncommon activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various incarnations, is certainly elevated to the higher planetary systems, or even brought back home, back to Godhead. Verse 31. Kriyamanane karmanidam deve pitriye thamanushe yatra yatra nutke cheta tattesham sukritam viduhu. Tattesham sukritam viduhu. Whenever, verse 31, whenever the activities of Amdev are described in the course of a ritualistic ceremony, whether the ceremony be performed to please the demigods, to please one's forefathers in Pitralok, or to celebrate a social event like a marriage, that ceremony should be understood to be extremely auspicious. Purport. There are three kinds of ceremonies, specifically ceremonies to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the demigods, those performed for social celebrations like marriages and birthdays, and those meant to please the forefathers like the Shraddha ceremony. In all these ceremonies, large amounts of money are spent for various activities, but here it is suggested that if along with this there is recitation of the wonderful activities of Amdev, certainly the ceremony will be carried out successfully and will be free from all discrepancies. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 8th canto, 23rd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Demigods Regain the Heavenly Planets. Hare Krishna. So I'm very much honored to be able to terminate this lila of Vandev. It's a great honor because it's one of the greatest lila in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So basically a small recap before we touch on different points here. We have seen that Lord Brahma and Bali's wife, Vindhyavali, they glorified the supremacy of the Lord and offered various prayers. That was the intent. And then when they requested Bali Maharaj to please release, they requested that Bali Maharaj be released. This is the idea. Because obviously he was, he had been tied up with ropes and he was in a, or to say the least, in an uncomfortable situation. He had been humiliated apparently. But upon being requested by the Lord, Brahma, immediately, upon being requested by Brahma, the Lord immediately readily agreed to release Bali Maharaj, and he offered him something which is unheard of, because he graced him to such an extent that is beyond what the demigods could even dream of. Just imagine where he came from. He's a Daitya, coming from an Asuric family, to say the least. And Daitya means Diti. Diti is the mother of the Asuras. So, and he had no proper sadhana bhakti, and he ended up, due to Kripa Siddha, he was a recipient of Kripa Siddha, unmotivated Kripa from the Lord himself, and he ended up being a Magi on the level of Sukadeva Goswami, Bhishma, Janak, Yamaraj, the four Kumars. So the Lord Vishnu awarded him his own, actually he created a planet for that matter. So imagine that, just like Dhruv, I create Sutal. And he himself, the Lord, volunteered to be the gatekeeper, if I may say, of this planet. So we can see the amazing fortune of this lila. It addresses to all of us because we were born Daitya in one sense. We were born Asur in the sense that our parents didn't, obviously, at least for me, didn't obviously perform the Garbhodan Sanskar. So our entering matter or beginning was quite ashubh, inauspicious in this planet. But by the grace of Vandev and by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, we can have a very glorious ending. This is not how we start. This is all about how we finish the journey back to Gandhi. So, and then on top of that, Aditi's original desire that her son be reinstated got fulfilled also. So everything, like we say in those American movies, this happy ending. It's always the same with the Lord. We may go through struggle, even lose battles on individual basis and global basis, but at the end of the day, we're going to come out victorious. Yatra Yogeshvaro Krishna, Yatra Partu Danu Dalaha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhuti, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Sanjay confirms that whatever there is Krishna in Arjuna, it's bound to have formidable might, victory, and morality. So that was a small recap. I just want to concentrate today on the Shruti Fal. It's called Shruti Fal. Shruti Fal means what are the boons of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. There's definitely great boons.
70?
Sorry?
70? How many great boons?
Oh, unlimited.
I thought you said 70.
No, sorry, I didn't say 70. I said there's unlimited boons. Shruti Fal. It's called Shruti Fal, just from hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's get into that. First of all, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself explains that Semangal Charan, Oi Trivida Prakar, Vastu Nirdesh, Ashirvad, Namaskar. Any book, any sacred book has three components. Vastu Nirdesh, we have to identify the subjects of the book. Obviously, this is Srimad Bhagavatam, so it's dealing with Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, this is the Vastu Nirdesh. Then Ashirvad. Ashirvad, this is Shrutifal. Ashirvad means we're getting benedictions. Srimad Bhagavatam is in and of itself benediction personified. So this is part of the program. That is why every day we assemble and hear, because Srila Prabhupada was so expert putting that book in the forefront, because he knows this book itself will redeem them from all their ominous past, their gloomy past. And then Ashirvad and Namaskar, obviously. So let's concentrate on the Shrutifal pertaining to the end of this Lila. One appears in 28. In 28, Agamochanam means just by hearing this kata, Vamandev kata, we can vanquish the result. Aga means path. We can vanquish the results of all sinful activities. Agasu means, aga means path, sin. So let's get into that first one. First of all, this is the first boon, and there's a series of 5 verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada oftentimes quote those 5 in a row. They appear in 7.1 in the Bhagavad Gita. And those 5 verses explain that Srimad Bhagavatam is sufficient in and of itself to eradicate the sin, the seed of sin. First one, obviously, Srinvatam Svakata Krishna, Punya Shravan Kirtanaha, Didantyasti Yabhadrani, Vidunoti Sudetsaram. Just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Punya Shravan Kirtanaha, it creates punya. Punya means piety, sukriti. Nothing else. Punya Shravan Kirtanaha. Vidantyasto Yabhadrani, practically everything that is troubling the heart is reduced to nil. Practically everything, not everything. It's very interesting, this line. Practically everything that is troubling us is eradicated. We could say, why not everything? Actually, why not? Any feedback from you devotees? Why not everything? Everything is practically destroyed to nil if you listen to Srimad Bhagavatam.
But not everything.
But little something is left. Because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained, the body is a sign of disease. But we need the body to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. If we have no body, how can we listen to Srimad Bhagavatam? We need the hearing sense. So that is why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says the body is, which is basically, a sign of sickness, but at least it is useful for the sake of listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why it doesn't say entirely this thing. Vidunoti Sudit Satam. So Krishna is in the heart and is a real benefactor, and he purifies from within. Just because we have this urge to hear Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya, Bhagavati Utamashloke, Bhakti Bhavati Neshtiki. Because we have this urge to hear practically everything that is troubling the heart, just by regular attendance to Srimad Bhagavatam, by serving the devotees, serving Srila Prabhupada, even serving the devotees, whether Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam, obviously, then all that is troublesome to the heart is almost eradicated, and then bhakti becomes established in the heart. This is the boon of Krishna. This is one boon, because it's already in the heart. So how come he manifests himself for the devotee? And for a non-devotee, he remains neutral. Udasinavat is like a judge. But for the devotee, he can testify this particular jiva is willing to hear my message. He's got this urge. Thus, I'm going to make myself visible. I'm going to make myself appear. I'm going to make myself appear to him more and more. Plus, I'm going to clean the place. So actually, it's the honors is on the Lord, provided we have an urge to hear. That's how it works. Then it moves on. Tadarajas tamubhava kam lobadayat shayer sheta etera navidam stitam sadve prasidati. This is a scientific process. Bhakti has been established in the heart by the grace of the Lord. Then the mind, manasa, prasanatma, becomes enlivened. We become enlivened by Krishna consciousness. We become tuned up. We become eager. We become more receptive. Yes, I like it. I want it. Then, Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. Why? Because yoga, there is yoga with Bhagavad Bhakti. We have connection with Bhagavad Bhakti. Then Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, the science of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said it's not a religion per se, it's a science. It's a spiritual science. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, Mukta Sandasya Jayate. Means then mukti, not only real or impersonal mukti, but vimukti. What is that verse? 2.6. Mukti idvanata rupam svarupena vyavastiti. This is mukti. Oftentimes when we hear mukti, moksha, in the back of the mind people are referring to impersonal moksha, merging. But here Shukadev, vimukti idvanata rupam svarupena vyavastiti. It explained that this vimukti is the Vaishnava vimukti. Once, Prabhupada gives the example, if you remove your coat and if you remove your shirt, what is left? You're stark naked. So in the same way, if you remove your gross body and if you remove your subtle body, what is left? The soul proper. So this is the vimukti for Vaishnava. Once we have rid of ourselves of the gross body and the subtle body. So here it says in that verse, we become established, we become on the stage of liberation from all material association. We are on the door, we are on the threshold of entering the paravyom, the spiritual world. But it goes on. Vidyate, hridaya grantis, kshidyante satyasa kamanaha, kshidyante satyasa kamani, dvijva evatmani shvare. This is the last verse of the 5. Pierce, the knot, hridaya granti means the knot in the heart. We have this knot in the heart, hridaya granti. Just like Prabhupada gives the example, if you have a knot and you put it in water, you cannot undo the knot. It's in water. It has been tied up. And water makes it even tighter. So due to our material desires, the knot in the heart is practically unpierceable. But here it says, Vidyate hridaya grantis. It is pierced. The Bhakti Yoga is going to pierce the knot in the heart. Then, chidyante means to cut. That's the verb to cut to pieces. Beyond all doubt, sava samshayaha, beyond all misgivings, all doubt, it is cut into pieces, the knot in the heart. Chidyante sachakamani. And then the chain of karma, which has been binding us up since time immemorial, is breaking loose. Just like, you take a machine or a tool and break an iron chain. Chidyante sachakamani. That long chains of karma coming from time immemorial is broken up. Drishva. Drishva means to see. Evat manishvare means Ishvare. You see the soul. You see yourself as a soul. Ishvare means you are dominating. Your soul is dominating, not the body. Body is dead. You see yourself. You see the soul. You are the soul. You understand? You see yourself. become a Tattvadarshi. So this is the process in 5 verses. Srila Prabhupada, it's Sutta Goswami obviously. So we can see the first boon is there. In 28 it says, Agamochanam. Just by hearing, you vanquish the results of sinful activities. So I had a certain days by quoting those 5 verses. This is my plea. Bhagavatam in and of itself is sufficient. Then second boon. It's appearing let's see. It's Avatar Anucharitam. Today itself, yeah. Yeah, in 30. Avatar Anucharitam. So what is the boon in 30? Avatar Anucharitam. Just by hearing the activities of the avatars, Yati Param Gatim, we go back to Prana. So first boon was get rid of the sins, cannot go back obviously if you're sinful. Number 2, Yati Param Gatim, you go back to Ghana. This is a boon. What a boon. So let's delve into that. First of all, Parikshit Maharaj explained, Shrinvatam Shradaya Nityam Grinatascha Veshtitam Kalina Natitirgana Bhagavan Vishate Ridi. 284. Parikshit tells his Guru Maharaj Shukdev Goswami, my dear Guru, persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam, he himself is at the end of his life. He's not drinking, he's not eating. So he says, persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam, and of course, there's a little clause here. What is the clause? Not just casual hearing. Parikshit is very expert in, very precise. What does he say? Grinata cha svateshtitam. Grinata cha svateshtitam. Taking the matter very seriously. This is the clause. You have to hear, okay, I'm hearing every day, Prabhu, I know. But are you listening, taking the matter very seriously? There's a clause. Grinata cha svateshtitam. Putting your endeavor into it. I'm going to do the arati, I'm going to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. You have to put your heart into it. Then what is the boon? Karena natidirgena. In no time, not in long time, not in a long time. Bhagavan vishate ridi. Bhagavan vishate ridi. Ridi means the heart. Vishate means to enter. You may say he's already there. Yes, he's already there. But he becomes fully bloomed. He opens up. He makes himself revealed. So we are dealing with what is the boon, but just by listening to Krishna Katha, we can go back to Godhead. Let's quote some verses on this matter. There's one disciple of Advaita Acharya, you may know him. His name is Srinath Chakravarti. Don't confuse with Vishwanath Chakravarti, different. Srinath. He has written a tika on the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's called Chaitanya Manchusha. And it's such a beautiful book. And Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself used to quote from that book. There's one verse. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya Tadam Vrindavanam. First line. We worship this one. Aradhyo Bhagavan. Bhagavan, Radhya means worshipable. Who is Bhagavan? Tell me. Vrajesha Tanaya. Rajesh, Raj, Isha Tanaya is the son of Nanda Maharaj. So many people are called Krishna in India. But we're talking about this Krishna with Vrajesha Tanaya, the son of Nanda Maharaj. So it's a very precise verse, this Krishna, Vrajesha Tanaya. Tadam Vrindavanam, the one living in Vrindavanam. Then, Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadu Vargana Vakalpita. And this great devotee, Srinath Chakravarti, he says, And of all the devotees, the most pleasing Ramyakachit Upasana, Vrajavadu, Vagena, Vakalpita, that group of Vrajavadu devotees, the gopis, Vrajavadu, they are the most pleasing. Their bhakti is the most pleasing to God Himself. Bhakti of the gopis, Ramyakachit, very pleasing. Shrimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartu Mahan. And this Shrimad Bhagavatam is the final Praman. Praman means evidence. And what does it give? Prem Pumartu Mahan. True love of God. What you speak of a boon. Then, who is ascertaining this? It's written by Srinath Chakravarti, but who is? Srinath is not a fool. He has put into the picture Mahaprabhu. He says, Sritanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatradara Naparaha. This is the verdict of Mahaprabhu. This is the opinion of Mahaprabhu. That Srimad Bhagavatam is sufficient in itself. And now let's go to the final boon pertaining to 31. Sukritam. We have seen three boons, I'm reminding you. First one is 28. Agamochanam. Sins are gone. Second, Avatar Anucharitam. Just by listening to Avatar Katha, what to speak of Krishna, then love of Godhead is given to you. Number 3, in 31, Sukritam. Sukritam means Shubh, auspicious, extremely auspicious. Even today itself, 31, even if you recite Vamadev Katha during a marriage ceremony, you could say it's mundane, birthday ceremony, even Pitri Shraddha ceremony, Pitri Lok, worshipping the Pitris, worshipping the demigods, now worshipping Vamadev himself. But either one of the case, either one of the 4 cases, if you recite this katha pertaining to Vamadev, it's Sukritam. Sukriti means pious, extremely auspicious. So what is the backup verse for that? You know the verse, I guess. And the second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Dhamma projito ketavotra paramo nirmat saranam satam vedyam vastavam asta vastavam atra vastu shiradam tapatrayon muranam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Kritekim Vapare Ishvara Sadhya Ridyavarudyate Trakritibi Shushushubi Stakshana. This is yesterday speaking. The second verse. This verse practically sets everything right. Dhamma Projito Ketavotra. Just like Gita finishes with Savadamam Palityaja Mamekam Shananavrata. And Bhagavatam starts with Dhamma Projito. Same, see, wherever the Gita finishes off, Bhagavatam starts off. Picks up. This is continuation. Savadamam Palityaja Dhamma Projito. It starts out from there. Continuation. You can see Bhagavatam is the continuation of the Gita. So, right from the onset, it's rejecting. Ketava. Whatever is covered by fruitive intention, God give me my daily bread, etc., all these material pursuits within the spectrum of religion, kicked out. Kicked out from the start. Paramo nirmat saranam satam. It's meant for those devotees. There's a clause again. Nirmat saranam satam. Those who are sincere and pure in heart. You may say, Prabhu, I'm not very pure. And I'm not very sincere. But practice makes perfect. By adhering to a process meant for those satam, nirmat saranam satam, gradually you're going to become like them. You associate with them. You associate with Ramdev. You associate with Bari Maharaj. You associate with Dhruv Maharaj. You associate with Prahlad Maharaj. You associate with Srila Prabhupada. It's a matter of time. Karena Natidirgana. In no time, Bhagavan Vishate Ridi. It takes 1 life, 2 lives, 3 lives. What's the big deal? So, Vedyam Vastavam Atra Vastu Shivaram. It means factually, again, Bhagavat Tattva Vigyanam, factually you become Krishna conscious. Vastu, the substance. Vastu means substance. The substance. Are we of substance or not? Is that devotee substantial? We say, does he have substance? We may be shallow, but we want substance. So the substance, Vastu, is coming from Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Shivadam, Shiv, Lord Shiv. Shiv means well-being. Well-being. Shivadam is extremely pertaining to the all good. Tapatrayon Mulanam means the threefold miseries. Adidevic clash, adibotic clash, adhyatmic clash. God. Can you imagine there's boons, there's sub-boons? I mean, it's bountiful book. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni. Who has compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam? Yes. He himself is speaking that verse, actually. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamune Kritakim Vapare Ishvara. It's been compiled by him. Remember, the Vedas were not compiled by him. The Vedas Shastraver Ahamaiva Vedyo Vedantakri Vedavid Devachaham. The Vedas is mentioned in Brihad Aryanaka Upanishad. The Vedas emanate from the breathing of the Lord. How can you compile the Vedas? It emanates from the breathing of Lord. So even Krishna doesn't say in 15:15 he has written the Vedas. Did you notice? In 15:15 he says, Vedas Shastraver Aham Eva Vedyo Vedantakrit Vedavit Evachaham. He says, I'm the goal to be attained by the Vedas. I'm the one who has written the Vedanta Sutra in the form of Vyasadeva. But never does he say he has written the Vedas. But Vyasadeva has written 2 books. He has penned 2 books. We have to give him the credit, 2 books. He has not compiled those. The rest of the Vedas he has compiled. He has arranged, in different 4 Vedas, then Upa Vedas. But he has penned 2 books of his own hand, Srimad Bhagavatam and Mahabharata. Those 2 books are coming, Bhagavan Vishati, Bhagavan Shakaran Vishihi. He has written those 2 books. So, then he goes, what is the need of any other book? What is the need? Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur says, you may burn all the books of creation. That's a heavy statement. Even Vedas. If Srimad Bhagavatam is left, nothing is left. What is the need? Sadhyo, at once, Ridya Avarujyate. Avarujyate means it becomes compact. The Bhagavatam becomes compact in your heart. Sadhyo means quickly. Kritibi, the pious persons. Shushrushubi, by culture of listening to the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Kritibi, those who are pious, who become pious, who are on the way of becoming pious, this Srimad Bhagavatam will be installed. Just like you install a deity. It will be installed in your heart. In no time. So I just wanted to remind all of us, including me, that each lila is loaded with shrutifal. Shrutifal means what is the fruit? People will say, what is the use of this book? Tell them what I told you. Just that lila itself. We discussed 28. Aga, Mochana. Sins are gone. Avatar, Anucharitam. By listening, going back to God. And even Sukritam, even if you do some mundane activities, maybe mundane, just put the Vamdev inside the mundane activity, becomes glorious. As simple as that. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, go ahead.
I can say that hearing attentively, you talk about
Grinatas Svasheshtitam.
and
Yeah.
devour of our hearing.
Yeah.
It reminds me when Jesus said, "Ask and you will obtain, and you receive." So, in fact, we ask by our ear. We
Yeah.
ask information,
Definitely.
and we obtain all the good news.
We have to put one's own effort and taking the matter seriously.
Yes, so it's
Remember, Sutta Goswami was called Ugrashrava. Shukadev Goswami called Sutta Goswami Ugrashrava. What does Ugra? Ugra Nrsingadev. Ugrashrava means?
énervé.
Ugra means terrible. It's tense. His listening is tense. It's mad tense. You know? And remember when Sutta Goswami spoke, there were 60,000 sages assembled like Nimesharanya. Bhagavatam explained you could hear a pin drop. Just, it's called wrapped in attention. Wrapped. Enraptured. So they know this is Sutta Goswami. Sutta Goswami, by heart, remembered the kata of Shukadev Goswami. When Shukadev Goswami started speaking to Maharaj Parikshit, all the great Saptarishis, all the great VIPs of the Brahmanda came down. Sutta Goswami was seated way back. Shukadev Goswami told him, come close. He knew this person is going to recite again later. By heart, he captured 18,000 shlokas. And much later, actually, there's a big gap of time between Shukadev and Sutta. Sutta had gotten his father died prematurely, remember? Ramashan Sutta was beheaded by Lord Balaram. So the sages kind of complained mildly, of course. They told Balaram, who was not meant to be so.
They had given him a benediction.
Yeah, so what happened? That father was meant to live long. So that length of time, that remainder of length of time of the father got passed down to the son, Sudha Goswami. Sudha Goswami had a long life because of his father died prematurely. So actually I was calculating many years ago, at least 20, 30 years ago, there's quite a big gap between Shukadev speaking and Sutta Goswami. Big gap. But Shukadev knew this person is going to recite. Come close. He put him in the first row. And he did recite. Right. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you very much.
Antaraj.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Yeah.
Prabhupada ki.